at Brush Square Museums. Welcome back to Susanna's Pioneer Survival Skills. Today we're going to learn how to crochet a granny square. We're going to be using concepts from our last crochet tutorial videos, so be sure to review those videos before starting this project. Let's learn a few new stitches. Traditionally, a granny square is a crocheted work usually composed of granny clusters, or groups of 3 double crochet stitches crocheted in the same space. Now, there are many variations on the granny square, and it is not uncommon to see a wide variety of shapes and stitches used in their construction. The name granny square derives from its tactile texture. You can make a granny square by feeling its pattern instead of relying on your eyesight, so even a granny can make one. The first known mention of the piece now known as a granny square was published in a book called The Art of Crocheting in 1891. The first written pattern for a patchwork square was published in Weldon's Practical Needlework in 1897, and it was advertised as a great way to use up leftover yarn. Although granny squares have always remained rather popular, they are heavily associated with 1960s and 1970s bohemian fashion. Crochet apparel is the latest trend, and the granny square is the star of the show. Granny squares are popular for their eye-catching colors and designs, but they are also economical, easy to make, and incredibly versatile. Granny squares allow the crocheter to experiment with different combinations of stitches without investing a large amount of time or supplies. Granny squares can also be made from yarn scraps, ensuring that no yarn is wasted. This benefit was especially useful in the 1890s, when yarn was much harder to come by. For this project, we'll need a skein of yarn, a pair of scissors, a weaving needle, and a crochet hook. I used a size G crochet hook, but you're welcome to use any size you feel comfortable with. We'll begin this project by creating what is known as a magic circle. Lay your yarn across your palm and then wrap it around your hand, making sure to create an X in your palm. There should be 2 parallel strands of yarn running across the back of your hand. Insert your crochet hook underneath the right strand and use it to pull the left strand underneath. Twist your hook to make a loop, then use your hook to pull the top portion of the left strand through the loop you just made. Once you have tightened and adjusted the knot that forms, you've made a magic circle. We'll use the magic circle as a foundation for the first few stitches of this project. As we make the first round of this project, we'll be learning a new stitch, the double crochet. Insert your hook into the middle of the magic circle and make a single crochet stitch. Then chain 2. As you are counting your stitches, count this group of stitches as the first double crochet of the round. Next, yarn over, insert your hook into the magic circle, and pull the yarn through. You should now have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull the working yarn through the first 2 loops. Yarn over again, and then pull the yarn through the remaining 2 loops. You've just completed your first double crochet stitch. Let's make 1 more double crochet, and then chain 3 stitches. 3 double crochets, as seen here, is often called a granny cluster. Make another granny cluster, chain 3, and you should see the corner of the granny square begin to form. Repeat this pattern of making a granny cluster followed by 3 chain stitches until you have 4 total granny clusters. Next, gently pull on the tail end of your yarn to tighten the magic circle. Finish the round by connecting your final 3 chain stitches to the top loops of the first stitch of the round using a slip stitch, as shown here. Finish adjusting the magic circle as desired. To begin the second round, turn the entire piece from left to right. This helps to ensure that your granny square turns out nice and neat. For this round, we will continue crocheting in a similar granny cluster pattern using the corner spaces we made in the last round. Insert your hook into the first corner space, make a single crochet stitch, and then chain 2. This will count as your first double crochet of the round. Double crochet 2, chain 3, and then double crochet 3 more. In the remaining corner spaces, double crochet 3, chain 3, and double crochet 3 more. Repeat this pattern until you have crocheted around the whole square. Finish the round with a slip stitch in the top loops of the first group of stitches of the round. Turn your work from left to right. In the next space, make a single crochet stitch and chain 2, as in previous rounds. Make 2 double crochet stitches and then move to the next space, a corner space. Just as in the last round, double crochet 3, chain 3, and then double crochet 3 more to create a corner. Continue crocheting around the square, placing 3 double crochet stitches in non-corner spaces, and 3 double crochets, 3 chains, and 3 more double crochets in corner spaces. When you've reached the end of the round, finish it by using a slip stitch in the top loops of the first group of stitches of the round. Turn your work from left to right. Continue using the same pattern we used in the last round, placing 3 double crochet stitches in non-corner spaces, and 3 double crochet stitches, 3 chains, then 3 more double crochet stitches in corner spaces. You can either omit this round or add additional rounds using this pattern to create a larger or smaller granny square as desired. When you've reached the end of the round, finish it by using a slip stitch in the top loops of the first group of stitches of the round. For our final round, there is no need to turn your work. We will simply be stitching around the entire square in order to create a neat border. This border will incorporate a new stitch, the half double crochet. To make this stitch, yarn over and insert your hook between the next 2 stitches. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull the working yarn through all 3 loops on your hook to complete your first half double crochet stitch. Continue around the square, making a half double crochet stitch between each of the stitches you made in the previous round, also called posts. In each corner space, make 4 total half double crochet stitches. When you reach the end of the round, finish it by using a slip stitch in the top loops of the first stitch of the round. Now you've finished crocheting your granny square. All that's left now is to weave in the ends. Using your weaving needle and the techniques that we learned in our last project, secure and conceal the tail ends of your yarn into your work and trim off any excess. Now you've finished your first crochet granny square. Tune in next time to see how we can use these concepts to make a sunburst granny square that is sure to brighten anyone's day.